Hi guys, welcome back to another video. So today, it's a new series and a new review for The Walking Dead World Beyond. It's the very first episode and the most anticipated show of 2020 because 2020 is complete write-off. Wow, I really didn't know what to say about this episode. I am undeniably a bit excited to see where this series goes. I mean, we're catching up with Generation 1 from the zombie apocalypse. They survived the end of the world and the rest didn't. That seems to be most of the promo material. But, I mean, I was a bit confused by this episode, to be perfectly honest. It felt like more of a sitcom. But before I go any further and go into minor spoiler territory, I'm going to ask you guys, if you have not seen the premiere episode of The Walking Dead World Beyond, I'm going to have to ask that you click off this episode, watch the episode, and then come back to this video to see what you thought about it. But I'm going to give you a spoiler warning in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we're now, if you've stayed to this point in the video, you have watched the episode and you're ready for my review. But honestly, as I said earlier, the show did feel like a sitcom. I know our main characters, Iris and Hope, are sisters, and their father is working in New York. Which does sort of, I mean, this, like, World Beyond definitely feels like a Beyond world. We are currently in Texas, or I think it's Texas. I can't remember, to be perfectly honest. I know they're in a community, and they're... There's like a weird mystery with the whole 3 circles thing, and I will be honest, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what the Civic Republic, which is what they seem to be going by, I wonder what they're going to bring to the table, because believe it or not, they are the guys who took Rick away from our main group in the flagship show. So, I mean, what are they going to do? I mean, what are their intentions? What is their motif? I believe clearly that they took Iris and Hope's dad in the hopes of making a cure. So I feel like the Civic Republic are sort of like, oh, we want to make the world back and we're going to develop a cure. So sort of like what the CDC did in Season 1 of The Walking Dead. But I mean, I was never really a big fan of that story arc. I feel like the brilliance of The Walking Dead was not knowing what caused it. I know Robert Kirkman has said many times that he knows what caused the outbreak, but he won't reveal it. And I feel like that's a brilliant way to do storytelling, is not telling what happened. We don't know if it was aliens. We don't know if it was a freak accident. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It just seemed like a perfect thing to do, and it's just the mystery of we can all come up with our own interpretations of what happened and what's going on and stuff like that. And I mean, knowing what the Civic Republic are doing and maybe what this show will give in terms of like where Rick is and stuff like that. So maybe at the end, at the final episode of World Beyond in the 2nd season, they find Rick and they find some information saying, oh, we were in contact with a community in Washington, and then Rick, he's forgotten what's happened, and then he remembers, and then he has to go back, and then he ends up on the final season of the main show. Who knows? But I'm genuinely excited to see where this show brings. But I mean, the main characters, I think they're called Iris, Hope, Elton, and Silas. I mean, this episode primarily focuses on Hope and Iris, because they are our protagonists. I mean, 2 female leads in a new show, I mean, that's quite good for storytelling. It's good to have a female protagonist, because I genuinely used to hate characters in TV shows and movies where they were just like, oh, we need a man to save us, and stuff like that, because it doesn't bring out, I mean, characters like Michonne, Carol, Maggie, they have definitely proven themselves that women can be furious leaders, they can be badasses, and I feel like that's the sort of way they're trying to go with Hope, because she seems very rebellious to the CRM. Like, even when there was a promo clip released a while ago, and the one of the representatives of the CRM comes along, and I just see Hope giving a middle finger to to this woman. She notices it, but then she ignores it, and Hope is just like, oh, just get lost. We don't know who you are. But that's the weird thing. We don't know where the CRM is based. They're literally, and they've got helicopters. They've got like a helicopter coming in, and then Hope says later in the episode there are 5 helicopters about. Where are they getting their fuel from 10 years in? Like, fuel should have ran out by now. Either that or they're mass producing fuel at a weird ass rate, and they're just flying around. I'm getting some really weird Days Gone vibes. If you've ever played that game, there is like a government facility called Nero, and there's just helicopters flying around, and that's the sort of vibe I got when watching this episode. And I mean, all the motivations of the characters are established, and this Elizabeth woman from the CRM, she seems pretty badass. She's very stoic, she's very cold. Hope is a very optimistic, she just wants to go explore, she wants to find her dad, she wants to keep herself safe. Iris is a bit of a different case as well. She's like, they may be sisters, but they are very polar opposites. But I mean, Iris does sort of move to Hope's side at the end of the episode. She's very, like, she wants to stay how she is. She wants to know, she's knowing her dad is safe, and then events happen, like the death of she sees the therapist, and sadly she's near the end of her life, and then at one scene she does die. So I guess like Iris's like wild philosophy starts crumbling down, and she does have the nightmares of being a walker, which I mean I understand, but I mean we don't really know enough about her yet to see why she does it. I mean, she says she does it because the night of their mum dying. And Elton, bit of a weird character. I mean, he's sort of like your typical nerd, in a sense. Like, he wears the smart clothing, he's very knowledgeable, but he wants to be brave, and that is sort of like an arc that everyone seems to be going through, like Hope, Iris, Elton, and Silas. I mean, they all sort of go to be brave, and that's why they venture out into the world beyond. Haha, funny pun intended. Silas is a bit of a giant silent type, which I kind of relate to a little bit, because I'm a tall man, I'm 6'4", and I used to be quite quiet in high school, and then I sort of came out of that phase. So I'm guessing Silas is like, they've all got their motivations to go into New York. They've got 1,100 miles to walk, but then there's like the other characters called Felix, and I can't remember the woman's name. I'm gonna have to rewatch the episode to get everyone's names. But then they go off to find them, and it's sort of like, okay, we're going to spend the first season of them going to New York with the home duo following after them, and I feel like it's kind of like a sitcom. Yeah, it definitely does feel like a sitcom, but I mean, it's a good episode nonetheless, so I'm going to end this review here. I mean, overall, I did enjoy the episode, and if you are interested in the world of The Walking Dead, then I do recommend that you watch World Beyond. If you want to know what happened to Rick, I'd keep an eye on the show. But the ending was definitely surprising, because we learned that the CRM have been raiding communities, burning them to the ground, and killing everyone. So what are the CRM's real intentions? You have to theorise with me in the comments below. But I mean, this is the end of the video for now. I do highly recommend that you watch this series. It's a very good starting point for this show. So if you did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like and a comment in the comment section below. Please subscribe if you haven't done already. Hit the bell icon to be notified when I next upload, and I will see you guys very soon.